Do you know that terrible feeling of waking up in the morning already feeling exhausted, with your mouth dry like sandpaper, with that unquenchable thirst that doesn't go away even after drinking liters of water? You get up and go to the bathroom for the fifth time during the night, and you realize you barely managed to sleep 2 hours straight. And when you finally get out of bed, you feel that dizziness, that weakness in your legs, that blurred vision that makes you hold onto the wall so you don't fall. And then you check your blood sugar and you see that frightening number on the screen, 180, 200, sometimes even higher. And that feeling hits you, that panic, that tightness in your chest, that paralyzing fear that you are losing control, that your diabetes is winning the battle, that the terrible complications you fear so much, blindness, kidney failure, amputation, devastating neuropathy, are getting closer and closer, and you can't stop them. And the most frustrating part of all is that you are trying to do everything right. You take your medications religiously at the exact times, you go to your medical appointments, you try to follow that endless list of dietary restrictions that seems to remove everything that tastes good from your life. You deprive yourself of eating with your family on Sunday lunches. You refuse that slice of cake at your grandchild's birthday because you are afraid of what will happen to your blood sugar. You live with that constant anxiety every time you eat anything, mentally calculating carbohydrates, wondering if that food will spike your sugar, wondering if it will ruin all the effort you've been making. But even so, even while doing everything you were told to do, your blood sugar stays high, it stays unstable, it continues to haunt you day and night, stealing your sleep, stealing your energy, stealing your peace of mind, stealing those simple moments of pleasure that should be part of your life. And you start asking yourself, am I doing something wrong? Is there something no one told me? Is there some food that seems harmless, but is actually completely sabotaging my blood sugar control? And the answer is yes, there is. And what's worse is that you are probably eating these foods every single day, maybe even at breakfast, thinking you are making healthy choices, thinking you are taking care of your health, when in reality, you are pouring gasoline on the fire of your diabetes. And today, I'm going to reveal to you what the 4 worst foods for blood sugar are, foods that you need to eliminate from your life immediately if you want any chance of controlling your diabetes. And then I'm going to show you the 4 powerful foods that you should be eating every single day, foods that science has proven are capable of lowering blood sugar naturally, improving insulin sensitivity, protecting your organs from the damage caused by excess sugar in the blood, and giving you back control over your health and your life. And I guarantee you that at least 2 of these bad foods are in your kitchen right now, probably in your refrigerator or pantry, waiting to sabotage your next meal. And at least 3 of the good foods you probably never even considered adding to your diet because no one told you about them, because the food industry doesn't want you to know, because there is a lot of money involved in keeping you sick, dependent on more and more expensive medications, stuck in an endless cycle of treatments that control symptoms but never truly solve the problem. According to alarming data from the International Diabetes Federation, more than 463 million people worldwide have diabetes, and that number is expected to reach 700 million by 2045. Among people over the age of 65, the prevalence is even more frightening, reaching nearly 30% in some countries. And most of these people are following dietary guidelines that are completely outdated, based on old science that has already been disproven, but continues to be repeated by health professionals who have not updated themselves, by nutritionists following obsolete protocols, and by an industry that profits billions by keeping people uninformed, dependent on more and more expensive medications, stuck in an endless cycle of treatments that control symptoms but never truly solve the problem. But before I reveal which 4 terrible foods you need to avoid at all costs,
I need you to understand what is really happening inside your body when you eat something that spikes your blood sugar. Because when you understand the mechanism of damage, you will have much more motivation to make the changes you need to make. You will understand why this is so serious, why it's not just about numbers on a glucose meter, but a matter of life or death, of quality of life or progressive suffering. So pay close attention, because this will completely change the way you look at food.
But before I reveal which are the 4 terrible foods you need to avoid at all costs, I need you to truly understand what is happening inside your body right now when you eat something that spikes your blood sugar. Because when you understand the mechanism of damage, you will have much more motivation to make the changes that are necessary. You will understand why this is so serious, why this is not just about numbers on a glucose meter, but a matter of life or death, of quality of life or progressive suffering. So pay close attention, because this will completely change the way you look at food. When you eat a food that has a high glycemic index or a high glycemic load, especially refined carbohydrates, simple sugars, or dangerous combinations of ingredients, that food is digested very quickly. The glucose enters your bloodstream rapidly, like a flood, like a tsunami of sugar that your body cannot process properly. Your pancreas, which is already overloaded and exhausted after years of fighting insulin resistance, tries desperately to produce enough insulin to deal with all that glucose. But when you have type 2 diabetes, your cells have stopped responding properly to insulin. They no longer respond to insulin's signal to open the doors and allow glucose to enter. So the glucose remains circulating in your bloodstream at dangerously high levels. And this is not just about feeling weak or tired. When your blood sugar is out of control, everything begins to fall apart. Your nerves start to degenerate. Your kidneys suffer irreversible damage. Your eyes gradually lose vision. Your arteries become stiff and damaged. And here is what scares me the most. Small blood clots begin to form when your circulation becomes compromised. You cannot see them, you cannot feel them, but they are there, multiplying every single day. Conventional medicine will tell you to take metformin, to inject insulin, to reduce carbohydrates, and to exercise more. And yes, these things help a little, but they are treating only the symptoms. They are not addressing the root cause, insulin resistance that is destroying your metabolism. And this resistance is not inevitable. It is reversible. But you need to understand the science before we get to the solutions. Here is what changes everything. Certain eating patterns force your body to restore insulin sensitivity again, not through magic, but through basic biochemistry that has been proven in more than 5,000 clinical studies. When you eat certain foods and avoid others, your cells begin to respond to insulin again. And when insulin sensitivity is restored, your blood sugar can normalize in a matter of days. I am talking about something real, something measurable. This is the difference between a pancreas that works properly and one that is failing. When this happens, your energy can increase by 60 to 80% in a single week. You feel it immediately. The exhaustion disappears. Sugar cravings decrease dramatically. Your energy levels rise. And over the course of weeks, real healing begins. Your beta cells partially regenerate, your mitochondrial function improves, and your risk of diabetic complications drops dramatically. But here is where it becomes critical. Not all diabetes strategies work the same way. Some are complete scams. Some work but come with dangerous side effects, and a few are true game changers that cost almost nothing. I spent 6 months reviewing the research, talking to endocrinologists, testing these strategies myself, and now I'm ranking the 10 biggest myths about diabetes for you, starting with the ones that help almost nothing.
Let's start with the worst foods that are silently destroying your blood sugar. Number 4. Commercial whole wheat bread. This is going to surprise many people. Yes, that whole wheat bread you buy at the grocery store, the one that says high fiber, made with whole grains, healthy choice, better than white bread. Here is the devastating truth. Most commercially produced whole wheat bread has a glycemic index almost as high as refined white bread. We're talking about a glycemic index between 68 and 75, which is considered high. This happens because these breads are made with whole wheat flour that has been ground so finely and processed so aggressively that it completely loses the structure that would slow digestion. On top of that, many of these breads contain added sugars, hidden under different names: corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, invert sugar, honey, molasses. Most people never notice because they do not read labels carefully. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that common whole wheat bread raised blood sugar almost as much as white bread, with only a 5 to 10% difference, which is insignificant in real life. And there's more. Many commercial whole wheat breads contain partially hydrogenated fats, chemical preservatives, dough conditioners, artificial emulsifiers, and long ingredient lists that you cannot even pronounce. All of these additives contribute to inflammation, to insulin resistance, and to metabolic dysfunction. Modern wheat itself has been genetically modified over decades to contain much higher levels of gluten than ancient wheat. This modern gluten is extremely inflammatory for many people, causing intestinal permeability, immune system activation, systemic inflammation, and worsening insulin resistance. The practical symptoms of eating commercial whole wheat bread include dramatic blood sugar spikes 30 to 60 minutes after eating, followed by sharp crashes that cause intense hunger, irritability, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, bloating, gas, and cravings for more carbohydrates. The score for commercial whole wheat bread is 2 out of 10. Number 3. Breakfast cereals. Even the ones marketed as healthy, whole grain, high fiber, or no added sugar. The breakfast cereal industry is one of the most deceptive industries in existence. These products look like the perfect healthy breakfast choice, but in reality, they are sugar and refined starch bombs. Even cereals labeled as whole grain have been so heavily processed that the grains are destroyed. What remains is essentially pure starch that turns into glucose almost instantly once it enters your digestive system. Studies show that many breakfast cereals contain as much sugar per serving as a slice of cake. And let's be honest, almost no one eats just one serving. The result is a massive blood sugar spike within minutes. The score for breakfast cereals is 1 out of 10. Number 2. Dried fruits. Raisins, dates, dried apricots, dried figs, dried bananas, dried mango. Many people think dried fruit is healthy because it's natural and comes from real fruit. But dried fruit is extreme sugar concentration. When water is removed, what remains is sugar. A small handful can contain as much sugar as a can of soda. Studies show dried fruit causes blood sugar spikes 2 to 3 times higher than fresh fruit. The score for dried fruit is 1.5 out of 10. Number 1. Fruit juice. Even natural, even freshly squeezed, even homemade. Fruit juice is liquid sugar. When you juice fruit, you remove the fiber that slows sugar absorption. 1 glass of juice contains the sugar of 3 to 4 whole fruits. Studies show people who drink fruit juice regularly have a significantly higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The score for fruit juice is 0 out of 10.
Now that you know the 4 worst foods that are destroying your blood sugar control, let's talk about the 4 powerful foods you should be eating every single day. Number 4. Avocado. Avocado is one of the most perfect foods for people with diabetes.
It is rich in healthy monounsaturated fats, high in fiber, and has virtually zero glycemic impact. These healthy fats slow digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and improve insulin sensitivity. Number 3, nuts and seeds. Almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts. These foods provide healthy fats, quality protein, fiber, and essential minerals that stabilize blood sugar. Number 2, whole eggs, including the yolk. Eggs are one of the most complete foods in existence. They provide perfect protein, do not raise blood sugar, and support muscle mass, which is essential for insulin sensitivity. Number 1, dark leafy green vegetables. Spinach, kale, arugula, broccoli, Swiss chard, Brussels sprouts. These vegetables are the foundation of blood sugar control. They are rich in fiber, magnesium, antioxidants, and compounds that directly improve insulin sensitivity. Now, let me talk to you about something important. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to change everything overnight. You just need to make better choices most of the time. Start slowly. Remove one bad food this week. Add one good food today, and then repeat. Tell me in the comments, which of the 4 bad foods do you eat most often, and which good food are you going to start adding today? Type, "I will change" if you are committed to making at least one change in the next 48 hours. If this video helped you, please click like. Subscribe to the channel for more science-based information about blood sugar and metabolic health. Share this video with someone you know who is struggling with high blood sugar. Type 2 diabetes is not a life sentence. Your body wants to heal. Start today.